Hello, beautiful English language learners. It's Mork Sensei. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is an introductory video in a dictation practice series to help you hopefully improve a couple of aspects of your prosody skills in English. What is prosody? Well, it's a technical term from the field of linguistics that is sometimes used interchangeably with what is called suprasegmental phonology. The word prosody is a broader, more general word, though. Prosody deals with the study of speech features such as rhythm, stress, and intonation. Prosody is less concerned with individual sounds or segments, and more with how words and sentences sound as a whole. Some elements of prosody include pace, or speed and tempo, which refers to how slowly or how quickly you speak, and also space, or pausing, which refers to how much time you leave between words and sentences, volume, which refers to how loudly or how softly you speak, and stress, which refers to how much emphasis you give to a word or words. And finally, register, which refers to things like tone, pitch, and intonation. There is a broader definition of the word register, which is used in a branch of linguistics called pragmatics, but here we're talking about prosodic register. Now, these 5 elements, pace, space, volume, stress, and register, are not the only way we can break down and define prosody, but for now, just know that when combined, all of the different elements of our speech working together create what we can call the music of a language. The different aspects of prosody combine to convey meaning, emotion, and structure in our speech. By the way, the words intonation, inflection, and rhythm often get confused, by native speakers too. They're related, but they are distinct or separate aspects of spoken language that affect how meaning is conveyed. Intonation refers to the overall pitch variation of your voice across a sentence or phrase to show meaning, emotion, and emphasis. Rising intonation is often used for a question, while falling intonation suggests a statement. Inflection, on the other hand, is the change in pitch or tone within a word or phrase, often used to emphasize a specific word or phrase to highlight its importance. You can add a lot of expression to your speech this way. Now, rhythm is the pattern of stressed and unstressed syllables in speech, which can also signal the speaker's emotion or the type of utterance. An utterance is simply something you say, so examples of types of utterances are a question or a command. Rhythm is what creates a musical flow to your speech. After this video, I'm preparing a series of practice dictation videos for you to work on improving your prosody. We're going to work on 2 aspects of prosody at the sentence level. First is word stress within a sentence, and second is pausing within a sentence. You could also say space, but I think pausing is easier to understand. Let me explain more about each of these ideas, stress and pausing. Word stress. When you stress something, you emphasize it. In English, we often stress parts of one word. Longer words carry stress in different parts of the word. For example, take the word photograph. The word photograph has 3 syllables. A syllable is like a music beat, photograph. But in English, we only stress one of these 3 syllables in this particular word. Can you hear which one it is? Photograph. Photograph. Do you hear which part of the word is stressed? Is it the first, second, or third part? Photograph. If you guessed the first part, you're correct. It's photograph. However, when we change this word to other words in the same family, the syllable we stress might change. How do you say this word, for example, which has 4 syllables? Is it photography? No. Is it photography? Nope, it's not. It's photography. Even the pronunciation changes. It's not photography, it's photography. Ah, English. And it gets worse because the stress on yet another word in the same family, this one, photographic, is not photographic, it's photographic. Oh, I know, it's painful. And furthermore, if you change the stress within a word, you might end up with a word that has a completely different meaning. I talked about this in a previous video, but in English, some words change their meaning and sometimes they're part of speech, noun, verb, adjective, based on which syllable is stressed. For instance, this word can be a noun, a written agreement, when stressed on the first syllable, contract, or it can be a verb, to decrease in size or number, when stressed on the second, contract. Here are some common examples. Note how sometimes the pronunciation of the parts of the words change as we change which syllables are stressed. Present, present. Record, record. Perfect, perfect. Content, content. Conduct, conduct. Object, object. Project, project. Permit, permit. Now, there are guidelines for learning stress within a word, but we're not going to cover them in this video. Instead, we want to focus on word stress within a sentence. English is a stress-timed language. This is different from other languages which use other types of prosodic stress, as shown here. Japanese is an example of a mora-timed language. Kanojo wa Takanobaba karikimashita. She's from Takanobaba. In Japanese, sounds are broken down into moras. We won't go into detailed comparative linguistics today, but the word okasan has 3 syllables, okasan. It's not normally transcribed with an H, but I've put it there to show you that the vowel is lengthened. In Japanese, it is broken down into 5 moras, o, ka, a, sa, n. And this is the way words are orally broken down to children and Japanese language learners so that they can use that information to better pronounce the word. In contrast, English speakers might say Tokyo, which has 3 syllables, but that is incorrect. It's Tokyo, which has 2 syllables. In Japanese, however, both vowels are lengthened, so there are 4 moras, Tokyo, or pronounced for learners, Toukyo-u. English does not use syllables to analyze individual words, but being a stress-timed language, when we put words together in a sentence, we stress the most important words and de-stress the rest. In a stress-timed language like English, the intervals or spaces or pauses between stressed syllables are relatively equal. Da 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 da. English and other Germanic languages tend to be stress-timed. So this sentence is not read, "Go down the street to the end of the canal." Instead, it's read, "Go down the street to the end of the canal." Did you hear me stress the 5 words with the dots over them? Go down the street to the end of the canal. And could you hear the rhythm there? When you work on improving your stress patterns, you will not focus on stress within a word on a particular syllable because that's not our main goal. Although, of course, you can indeed practice the correct stress area of individual words simply by listening and repeating what I say. But no, in this series of activities coming up, the focus will be more on what words to stress within a sentence. Notice how I just stressed the word within. In natural English prosody, the more important content words, like nouns, adjectives, verbs, adverbs, question words like who, what, when, where, why, how, object pronouns like me, you, him, her, etc., and negative auxiliary words and modal verbs like not, never, shouldn't. They generally receive stress. This is the first general guideline. And you can also stress certain words to emphasize meaning, which we will talk about later. That is what I was doing when I said stress within a sentence. Again, recall or remember that when you stress something, you emphasize it. We do this to show what is most important or to focus on a particular meaning. To emphasize a word, you can stress it, stretch it, or pause before it. To stress a word, you might inflect it, change the pitch or tone. You could also change the volume, say it more loudly or strongly. To stretch a word, you can lengthen it by drawing it out. This changes the pace for that particular word or group of words. Or you could add a pause, usually before the word you want to emphasize. And of course, you can use some combination of these forms of emphasis. For example, take the sentence, I have a big dog. If you want to emphasize the word big, you could stress that word. For example, I have a big dog. Or you could stretch the word big. I have a big dog. Or you can add a pause. I have a big dog. Or if you want drama, you could use all three techniques. I have a big dog. In contrast to the main or important words that you should stress in a sentence, it's also important to recognize which words you should de-stress, not stress. These are words that are less important to catching the meaning, such as prepositions like in, on, at, subject pronouns, he, she, they, etc., articles, a, and, the, these, etc., the to be verb, and auxiliary words and modal verbs like could or might. This is my second general guideline, but there are exceptions. For example, subject pronouns, I, you, he, she, etc., are typically unstressed in natural speech, but they can be stressed for emphasis, and we'll get into that soon. Now, let's look at some basic examples of sentence stress patterns. The kids are at the park. Focus on kids and park. The and at are unstressed. The verb are here is a be verb, so it's short and it's not essential to the meaning of the sentence. I'm going to the beach. Focus on going and beach. I'm, to, and the are unstressed. Notice how the pronunciation of the word to changes. I didn't say to the beach, I said to the beach. This kind of thing happens a lot when you blend words, de-stressing them and saying them quickly using the schwa sound. He bought a red car. So focus on bought, red, and car. He and a are unstressed. She does not know the answer. Focus on not, know, and answer. She, does, and the are unstressed. We are not familiar with this new computer program. Focus on not familiar and program. We are with this are not stressed. Why aren't you doing your homework? Focus on why doing homework. Aren't you, your are unstressed. But I could have stressed aren't if I wanted to. The athlete ran quickly and won the competition. So I stressed athlete ran quickly, won, and competition. And the other words are de-stressed. So yes, the unstressed little words are all squished together and said very quickly and softly. Also, they sound different. We often change the pronunciation and many vowels change to the schwa sound, which we can hear all throughout the English language. Schwa. I want a cup of coffee. Nope, it's I want a cup of coffee. And of are reduced using the schwa sound. She will be late for the class. No, instead, we say she will be late for the class. For and the are changed to fada. No R sound in for. It's blended away. Can you go to the store and buy me a sandwich? No, no, no. The natural way to say it is, can you go to the store and buy me a sandwich? So can, you, to, the, and all use the schwa sound. Anyway, back to the topic of sentence stress. I'm sure that you noticed with some of the examples I shared earlier that there can be variation in stress patterns. You can emphasize different words to change the meaning, although most grammar words will remain unstressed. This series of the same sentence provides a great example. There are several ways you can use stress, and each way changes the meaning. I never said he ate your cake. He did. I never said he ate your cake, because he didn't. I never said he ate your cake, but maybe I gave a hint. I never said he ate your cake. I said she did. I never said he ate your cake. I said he licked it. I never said he ate your cake. I said he ate her cake. I never said he ate your cake. I said he ate your steak. So now you see how you can deliberately alter the words you choose to stress to convey or show a particular meaning. Perhaps I'll make another video on this with more examples later. I think it's a lot of fun. Pausing. Okay, now what about pausing? Well, English is a very rhythmic or rhythmical language. It's perhaps not as rhythmical as languages such as Italian, but compared to a language such as Japanese, it arguably has more rhythm. You know now that English is a stressed timed language, where the intervals between the stressed syllables are relatively equal. Japanese, in contrast, is more timed with more even rhythm. As a result, to Japanese speakers, English can sound more sing-songy to native Japanese speakers, and to native English speakers, Japanese can often sound flat or monotone. But if you're a non-native speaker of English and your goal is to sound more natural, how do you know how to create that natural rhythm? Well, I've already given you some guidelines about what types of words you typically stress and de-stress to sound more natural, but how about where to pause? So I have some more guidelines for you. They're not the only ones, but they're relatively easy to understand. Following these pausing tips in addition to the word stress guidelines could have a big impact on your English prosody, at least when reading it first. You'll probably sound more natural. Guideline 1 is to pause where there is punctuation. This means you should take a break and maybe breathe whenever you see a comma, period, question mark, exclamation mark, colon, semicolon, or quotation mark. For some English language learners, this might seem obvious, but a lot of students I have taught over the years don't seem to even notice that you should stop talking for 1 or 2 seconds when they see punctuation. When you're reading out loud, try silently clapping once or twice whenever you see punctuation to remind you to stop. For example, breathe whenever you see a comma, period, question mark, or exclamation mark. Guideline 2 is to pause before prepositions. Prepositions are words like in, on, at, to, from, with, by, for, about, against, between, during, before, after, above, below, through, into, out, over, under, around, among, along, near, inside, outside, beside, beyond, until, against, beneath, beside, by, down, from, in, into, near, of, off, on, to, toward, under, upon, with, and within. Phew, did I get them all? Prepositions are words that show the relationship between a noun or pronoun and other words in a sentence, typically showing location, time, direction, or other relationship. They are all crucial, very important as a part of English grammar, helping to clarify or make clear the meaning of sentences. Guideline 3 for pausing is conjunctions. In grammar, a conjunction is a word that connects other words, phrases, or clauses. It acts as a bridge, linking elements together to form a more complex sentence structure. Conjunctions can be classified into different types based on their functions, such as coordinating, subordinating, and correlative conjunctions. As an example, here I'm showing you coordinating conjunctions: for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. Coordinating conjunctions connect words, phrases, or clauses of equal grammatical rank. The ones on the screen are easy to recall if you remember the acronym FANBOYS. And you can also see some examples of subordinating conjunctions: because, although, if, when, and while. These conjunctions connect an independent clause with a dependent or subordinate clause, creating a grammatical relationship between them. Now, please note that these guidelines about pausing won't cover everything, but it's a good start. And that, my friends, is the end of today's video. To summarize, you've learned about syllables and word stress at the start of the video, but I told you to focus on stress within a sentence for our purposes. You learned that you have to stress the words in a sentence that are the most important to show the meaning of what you're saying, and that you should de-stress less important words and say them more quickly. Sometimes the pronunciation of vowels in these small words will change, often to the schwa sound. I also gave you some hints about pausing or creating space. Remember to pause after punctuation, prepositions, and conjunctions. Doing all these things will make your speech patterns in English sound more natural. In future practice videos in this series, I will not repeat the explanation of sentence stress and pausing, so feel free to come back to this video to re-watch if you need to. And I'll see you soon, I hope. Mork Sensei, signing out. Bye-bye.
When words don't come easy, Mork Sensei shows you the way, breaking through barriers daily, talking more with little delay. Mork Sensei's got your back, so you can lift yourself higher and make learning feel light. Mork Sensei's got your back. With some effort, you're rising, your English voice is inside.